Good afternoon. You're watching the National Broadcaster, coming to you live from Broadcast House on Nile Avenue. My name is Sandra Kahunde, welcoming you for this special edition that comes your way every Sunday afternoon, the weekly news roundup, activities and updates that you could have missed out during the entire week. Now, starting off with this newscast, I will look at activities regarding the head of state, where President Yoweri Museveni this week announced a ban against importation of second-hand clothes in Uganda. Museveni says the continuous importation of such clothes in Uganda denies market to locally manufactured clothes. This was at Mbale Industrial Park, where he commissioned 15 factories and officiated groundbreaking for 9 more factories.
The person you see arriving here at Sino Mbale Industrial Park is the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni. He is here to see for himself the progress of what he started way back in 2018. One of his stopovers is at the textile manufacturing plant, one of the 40 factories creating jobs here. Both the Chinese and Ugandans employed here welcome him in style. As he arrives at the venue for the main event, the youthful beneficiaries of employment creation here appreciate him through entertainment. Behind this dance is a serious message of local manufacturing that could see imported products substituted, including second-hand clothes.
The investors who invested in the textiles, because now they have given me strength to chase away second-hand clothes. Because there is nobody who will stand in my way when he sees this picture of these children here who have got jobs from textile factories and then start arguing in favor of second-hand clothes.
He says continuous importation of second-hand clothes denies the market for those locally made here.
I therefore want to thank the investors. Don't be discouraged, we are going to sort it out. We are not going to allow these second-hand clothes to enter our country anymore. Omuzungu bwafa eyo ewaabwe eyo ebigoye byonna byabadde ayambala abisuulaawo kati obaani abijjayo n'abiteeka mu ndibota ne basindikira Abafrika munange.
To this effect, he wants government departments and agencies to purchase locally made products as opposed to importation.
The Minister of Energy is here. The cables, the meters must be bought from our factories here and the ones in Kampala. Anybody who does not would have to go and look after his goats or chicken at home.
He says this will increase more industrialization in the already established industrial parks. Ministers agree with him.
Mr. President, we're talking about manufacturing of percolators. Mr. President, we're talking about manufacturing of jeans. Your Excellency, we're talking about manufacturing of windows. Your Excellency, we're talking about manufacturing of bed sheets.
I want to assure the chairman of the industrial park that we have security If one line faces a problem, then we will get power from Naluvale.
You may recall when you appointed me as the Minister of Finance, I came to you in Entebbe and I said, why have you appointed me in this portfolio? And what do you expect me to do? I will remind you if you have forgotten, Your Excellency. You said one word, industrialization.
Earlier, the Chinese ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Lizong, reaffirmed the Chinese partnership in development with Uganda without strings attached.
Cooperation between China and Uganda in the development field has no limits. We are good brothers, good partners on a path to modernization.
This is just the beginning. You know, every month we have a new factory set up in Bali Industrial Park. Just the beginning. Now, total, we have more than 40 factories.
Area leaders equally welcome the developments at Mbale Industrial Park.
When he puts a ban on second-hand clothes, he is doing a very good job because he's providing market for the products made in Uganda by the tailors to be consumed by the internal market, that are the Ugandans, and then the external market.
The president commissioned 15 factories and officiated groundbreaking for 9 more factories at this industrial park. Henry Okrut, UBC, Mbale.
Still looking at activities regarding the head of state, President Yoweri Museveni this week promised to support the family of the Lord's Resistance Army rebel leader Joseph Kony. The president met the family of the LRA leader at State House in Entebbe, led by Brigadier Ali Salongo Kony, who is the son of Joseph Kony. Ali Kony, who came along with his mother, children and his father's uncle Kony Otim Thomas, expressed gratitude to President Museveni for welcoming them back home to reunite with their community and said they are ready to become productive citizens. The chief of Pangea, Chief Doma, wrote Yusuf Okwang Adek III. The third also thanked President Museveni for the current peace prevailing in northern Uganda that has enabled their people to return back home. Wrote informed His Excellency Museveni that Joseph Kony, who is now about 62 years old, is weak and unable to fight back, adding that the focus should now be rehabilitating and supporting his family to engage in productive activities like farming. President Museveni promised to help them get land which they can utilize to do agriculture collectively as a family enjoying the money economy. He however asked them to understand the concept of a family company, which he said is easier to operate than dividing everything amongst themselves. The president also promised to continue supporting Kony war victims across the country. The meeting was also attended by the Presidential Coordinator for Northern Uganda, Mr. Oduch Bosco Olak, among others. In other activities from state, President Yoweri Museveni this week appealed to BRICS summit members to address the oppression and the suffering the human race has gone through ever since the evolution of man into Homo sapiens from low primates. This was in a statement presented by Vice President Major Jessica Alupo at the BRICS summit that has been ongoing in South Africa. The president explained that the oppressions that human race has gone through have been in form of nature-like, that is to do with disease, hunger, droughts, floods and earthquakes, other than being and by man in form of slavery, imperialism, migration, feudalism and dictatorship.
Speaking at the BRICS summit in South Africa, Vice President Jessica Alupo, who delivered President Museveni's speech, that President Museveni was concerned about the different forms of oppressions that human race have gone through since the evolution of man into Homo sapien.
That had been arranged long before. However, these are our brief comments.
The human race has been here for 4.5 million years. Ever since man evolved into Homo sapiens from lower primates.
Irrespective of the oppressions that man has endured, that are both nature and partisan-based, President Museveni appealed to the summit in his speech to embrace the metamorphosis of these oppressions that man has gone through to better the oppression of nature.
During all that time, man has faced two major oppressions. These are oppression by nature, e.g., disease, hunger, droughts, floods, earthquakes, etc. And oppression by fellow man, e.g., slavery, imperialism, aggression, feudalism, dictatorship, etc.
Speaking on the account of ideological bankruptcy and parasitism, President Museveni said that the advances in human knowledge are more often than not used to reinforce the oppression of man by man.
Unfortunately, on account of ideological bankruptcy and parasitism, these advances in human knowledge are more often than not used to reinforce the oppression of man by man. That was the situation in the invention of the use of iron tools and weapons, the invention of gunpowder, etc.
However, he revealed in his speech that God equipped man with three characteristics that enabled him to find solutions to the two oppressions of nature by fellow men.
In the fight for freedom from oppression of man by fellow men, it is important to remember what the Bible teaches us. In the book of Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, verse 26, it goes as follows.
Bearing the foregoing in mind, President Museveni applauded the relevance of the BRICS effort, describing it a gust of fresh air that after 600 years of slave trade,
in other news, the Joint Security Forces of UPDF and police in Karamoja, led by the 3rd Division Commander Major General Don Nambasa, a Mount Moroto Regional Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police Francis, and other security officers have met politicians and residents of Moroto District to advocate for voluntary handover of illegal guns. Security officers were joined by reformed warriors from Kotido and the Kabong district who share the experience after voluntary handover of firearms.
Joint Security Force led by the 3rd Division Commander Major General Don Williams Nabasa, Mount Moroto Regional Police Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police Francis Chemusto are continuing with their peace initiative, advocating for voluntary handover of illegal guns among warriors of South Karamoja. The security chiefs are joined by the reformed warriors from Kotido and Kabong districts who shared their experience after embracing peace. Security and local leaders explained more about voluntary disarmament campaigns.
And the President of the Republic of Uganda, who met the first group of Marachona that were brought to him, and he provided them with a tour to some parts of the country, be able to see where development is taking shape in order for them to board a leaf. So he tasks us to continue with the campaign and mobilize as many as as many as possible.
Now it's them who are coming out openly and saying, you know what, we are fed up of this. We have lost a lot, and we seem not to change in any way. So it's better to get together and reconcile with our brothers so that we are able to move forward.
While meeting the Matheniko community in Nadunget Sub-County Moroto District, residents expressed gratitude to President Yoweri Museveni over the amnesty extended to them and pledged to embrace peace for development. The Matheniko are worried of Pokots and Turkana cattle keepers from Kenya who cross over to their villages with firearms, which they pass on to the Karachunas that cause havoc in the area.
The Turkana should not come. We have been having meetings with this Turkana.
Moroto, like other southern Karamoja districts, have reportedly not responded to voluntarily hand over the firearms.
Let's first see those that have released their weapons, specifically those from northern Karamoja, if their lifestyle will be provided with some alternative means. That's why they're a bit hesitant. Some of them are still hesitant. So, but we shall not get tired. We shall continue engaging with them until they can actually get on board.
We begged people to accept what has taken place and forgive each other. That is the same thing we would love to talk to the people of to really forget what has happened. Because when we get back to the world,
area leaders now want an alternative livelihood window for the Karachunas to deter them from further criminality. The joint security forces are expected in Napak and Nakapiripiriti districts of South Karamoja with the same message of surrender of illegal firearms. Joseph Oko and Maureen Iga, UBC.
The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja this week lauded the Xaverian movement in the Catholic Church for their charity work towards humanity. The Xaverian movement empowers its members to put their faith in action by practicing the virtues of love and charity.
While addressing the Xaverian Movement International Conference at Namugongo, the Prime Minister Nabanja said government recognizes the role played by the movement in serving humanity. Nabanja commended the members for keeping the Xaverian movement alive and assured them of government support in their endeavors.
I want to once again thank you, Monsignor, for inviting me and for organizing this very important conference. On behalf of government, the President of the Republic of Uganda, I welcome all the delegates to Uganda from other parts of the country, of Africa.
Nabanja appealed to the young generation to join the Xaverian movement to serve humanity and also appreciate the need for charity.
I'm glad to note that young people are increasingly joining the Xaverian movement, and I've seen them by myself. And so I want to encourage that more young people should join, so that the virtue and many other charitable benefits can reach the grassroots.
The Secretary General of the Uganda Episcopal Conference, John Baptist Kauta, commended President Museveni for supporting the church and the development of the country.
We want to assure you that you really love us. And if we had a way of expressing this to His Excellency the President, we would. And surely he knows you love us. In spite of being very, very busy, and you beat me to it, I was planning to come knowing that possibly you would come later, but you came much earlier than even me. Your group assured me that no matter how limited time is, the Right Honorable Prime Minister wants to make a difference and attend.
The priest in charge of Xaverian movement, Reverend Father Bernard Mugerwa, says the Xaverian movement is facing some challenges in their quest to serve humanity.
Our biggest challenge in Uganda as Xaveri is actually in the development. We have been doing a lot of trainings to various dioceses, but developing and helping young people to get skills is one of the greatest problems. So we would like in the future, together with our patron from the White Fathers, we have been discussing this so that we may get a home we may get a center for Zaveri where there is training.
The conference is being attended by members from Rwanda, Burundi, DRC Congo, and Burkina Faso. The Zaverian movement was established in Bukavu in DRC Congo in 1952 and named after St. Francis Xavier, a Jesuit missionary in India. The Prime Minister, on behalf of the government, donated 10 million shillings to the Zaverian movement to facilitate them in serving humanity. The Zaverian movement has over 70,000 members in Uganda and is spread to over 19 dioceses.
The Parliamentary Committee on Infrastructure this week was suspended from investigating the digital number plate saga involving the company's capability to handle the project. The Member of Parliament for Nakawa East, who is also the Infrastructure Committee member, Ronald Nsubuga Balimwezo, revealed to UBC TV that the chairperson communicated to them after receiving a letter from the Office of the Deputy Speaker.
I don't want to pretend that I know much about this project.
This week, the ministers in charge of digital number plates project appeared before the Infrastructure Committee to answer queries raised against the Russian company contracted to undertake the project. The Minister for Internal Affairs, Kahinda Utafire, denied any knowledge about the Russian company joint stock company Global Security. Meanwhile, the Minister for Security, Jimmy Muwezi, defended the Russian company. It's from after this clash that the Deputy Speaker, in a letter that was not accessed by media, that the Parliamentary Committee on Infrastructure was suspended from further investigations until the two ministers harmonized their positions.
So the Speaker says that we should hold and allow ministers to harmonize. But our problem, the problem of the committee was, how can such an issue of digital number plates of almost $1 trillion shillings go up to a time of execution when actually line ministries like Internal Affairs do not know about the issue? Now that is where the problem is. We don't mind whether they are going to harmonize.
According to the MP Nakawa East, their investigations also doubted the capabilities of the company contracted to undertake the multi-billion project.
These guys were told by June 1st to have imported 50,000 number plates. We visited them, there is no single number plate they have ever imported. Now, we did not carry out due diligence to know whether they have the capacity. The Minister of Internal Affairs tells us that those that went, his members that went for due diligence, found actually nothing in Russia where they went. These guys only have 2 computers. That's all they have. And they have a prototype, call it a prototype, of a car tracker, bigger than a brick that they want to use on our cars. How can you use a car tracker as big as a brick? That's what they wanted to use to demonstrate to us. And it never worked. They had just one single unit. And here we are telling we are ready to begin implementation of this. This is unexistent. It is a move to defraud Ugandans by some of the key people around the president.
The MPs further revealed that the charge of shillings 700,000 from 150,000 set by the company for the number plate is abnormal.
Now, these guys are using installation for police. All the infrastructure they are using is that of police. How can you hack into a system without permission? First and foremost, this system that police is using is from China. China has never, at any one time, given the government of Uganda and that of Russia authority to hack into their system. We have national data. I don't know how a Russian company comes into the system of police and hacks into our national data. And all they have to give us is just a mere software. This software on the market, it's 2.4 billion Uganda shillings. They are selling it to us at 93 billion. When you look at the cost of registration number. It's abnormal. A boda costs a mere 4.8 million. The number plate is going at 714,000.
Uganda takes a move to migrate from analog to digital number plates, mainly to increase security of the motor vehicles. But there's been a controversy surrounding the company contracted to undertake the project that has delayed the commencement of the project. Philip Aguta for UBC News at Parliament.
The Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Peter Elweru, this week cautioned those joining the army not to regard it as a business, but instead a patriotic service. Elweru was officiating at the send-off, a ceremony of 93 senior officers at the Defense Headquarters in Mbuya, and called retirees repent of their sins committed during service.
The retired 93 UPDF senior officers include 17 colonels, 13 lieutenant colonels, and 63 majors perceived to be among the long-serving officers who have served the force for at least 40 years.
Thank you so much for alerting us early enough. There are no surprises because the general administrative orders normally come out almost 5 years before one retires. So that one gives us a chance really to prepare accordingly.
These have commended government for the opportunity given to serve their country for a remarkable period.
Serves as a constant reminder of the significance of our roles in ensuring a secure and prosperous Uganda, especially as we are joining you as wananchi out of combat, ready to continue creating wealth for ourselves through PDM and other government initiatives, being our beacon.
The force has advised them to represent UPDF in a disciplined manner and engage in government-initiated wealth creation programs for survival.
Ensures force continuity, ushers the retirees to life after or outside military service, and not only got to network with the civilian community, but also be able to invest your retirement package wisely when you are still capable.
Lieutenant General Peter Elweru, the Deputy CDF, urges public to change their perception that serving the army is a lucrative business venture.
You never joined the army as a job. You joined it as a calling. Today, most of the people join the army as a job, and that's where we're getting it wrong. Because the army has never been a job. It is a service to the people. It's a sacrifice.
Elweru appealed to the retirees to reflect on their past and to repent where necessary for life continuity.
It is time for you to prepare to serve yourself. If you still have the energy, don't waste that energy for any other thing. Waste that energy to prepare yourself for the final destiny. And that final destiny is the grave. There is nothing more than that. During our service, you might have stepped on many people. Maybe you have done so many things. It is time to reflect and repent. Ask for forgiveness, so that as you leave tomorrow, you find that you are set free.
Major Richard Kidega is among the retirees and has spent the recent 5 years preparing for retirement and has established a poultry business.
So in 2019, I was transferred near my home in Gulu. From there, I started preparing myself, preparing the family members, that I'm going out in 2023-24 financial year. So we constructed our house, we completed, we bought some few acres of land. We started rearing birds, majorly chicken. And that is the business I've started. And that's where my fallback. I think life will not be difficult at all.
The send-off of these officers follows the President's approval of the retirement of 110 general officers, where 99 are senior officers from the rank of Major to Colonel and 11 generals. General send-off is slated for 31st of August 2023. Abdul Nasili Luwama for UBC.
In other news, married couples in Kagadi district were this week cautioned against infidelity, a cause of domestic violence and poverty in their homes, but strength and faithfulness if they are to proclaim a God's kingdom and receive eternal life.
Love and trust have the potential to make families stable with no domestic violence and promiscuity in homes. A senior church leader in Kagadi Archdiaconary Bunyoro Kitara Diocese, Reverend Justus Variayaka, was performing a holy matrimony service at Rutete Church of Uganda, Kagadi district.
Rohanga bateragisa ha umuntu wena aleke babaganiza inywe mulikara yoko itwabali kararusozi n'abano wanje kuri harabali yakaraiti uwo mutebezi hari yakaraiti honka hano waika hano urahunirira ekanisa ya Ruhanga erimo mwiri magonka.
He challenged Christians to embrace government programs, mainly poultry, piggery, circles, and preserving the environment. Reverend Canon Trijuke, who blessed two sets of couples, asked them to work together and groom their children into responsible citizens. Desteo Ontegeka, of the Office of the President, encouraged men to fulfill their responsibilities over their families. He explained that many fathers are neglecting their families, which has increased the abuse of children's rights. The chairperson Fathers Union, Rutete Church of Uganda Parish, Asaf Namanya, appealed to Christians to contribute towards the renovation of Rutete Church of Uganda.
Well, before we get to this other update that is to do with Lions Club, today happy to be having a guest who will be joining us shortly. That is Frank Muramura, the district officer in charge of Region A, and he'll be talking more to do with the medical camps and the plans they have ahead as far as the club is concerned. And more from this particular update. Well, we get to see that the Lions Club of Uganda leaders this week held their first cabinet meeting in Kampala. A two-day training of regional Lions Clubs, leaders and cabinet officers preceded the district of 411B Lions Cabinet at Silver Springs Hotel Bugolobi near Kampala. Participants at the training came from 56 Lions Clubs of District 411B spread across the country.
To your nation, to the state, to your community, and give them unswerving reality in word, act, and deed.
Members of Uganda's biggest service organization, the Lions Club International District 411B, are holding a two-day training and a cabinet meeting at Silver Springs Hotel in Kampala.
Time management, finding time for Lions work, finding time to build, to read Lions literature, and everything else.
Lions Club's International Coordinator, Dr. Engineer Dan Naturinda, is among the trainers of Lions Clubs of Uganda leaders. He wants leaders to have integrity and be accountable during their service to humanity.
Humility. Meaning we are not doing things for the show, we are supposed to do them for the purpose. Okay? So it's not us, it's about what we do. So even if they don't know who did it, let the actions speak for themselves.
Naturinda, who is also the past governor of Lions Club International District 411B, Uganda, explained that members should be exemplary and learn to offer voluntary service to the less privileged. There are 56 Lions Clubs in Uganda under the leadership of Dr. Stanley Bubichire, the governor District 411B.
We as members make a club with its leadership. Clubs collectively make the international association. Everything else in between is administrative. Okay? The districts, the areas, the constitutional areas, those are administrative. But we are the International Association of Lions Clubs, and so it's important to know that we are part of that big structure.
Lions Clubs of Uganda are part of other 48,000 clubs in 200 countries across the world, with over 1.4 million members, helping others and making communities better.
Working together to serve the less fortunate people and to make sure that people get better living standards.
Formed of volunteers who are willing to serve the less fortunate.
Dr. Patty Hill is the current international president. Crispus Areneitwe, Deo Habimana, UBC News.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3 GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Sebo.
Yes?
This is the bill.
What?
Malaria testing, 10,000. Treatment, 100,000 since we put on drip.
Hey, Musao, can you read this for me? Before I brought my wife here, I'd already spent money on buying herbal medicine and drugs from the pharmacy, which didn't work.
But Sebo, the government gave out mosquito nets. Doesn't your family use them?
We got the mosquito nets, but they got holes and we didn't know what to do.
Protect your loved ones from malaria. Sew your mosquito nets whenever they get damaged to keep the mosquitoes away. Ensure all nets are tied up every morning to avoid damaging them. Ensure that everyone in your family sleeps under a treated mosquito net every night, whether it is a cold or hot season. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Welcome back. Good to know you're following this newscast, special edition that comes your way every Sunday, the weekly news roundup. I did promise that we're coming back with our guest for the day, and the highlights that we looked at, that is to do with the update from Lions Club International, the two-day training that was taking place at Bogolobi. He's going to give us a highlight, just briefly, what the training was all about, and in general, for those of you who have just tuned in, maybe you don't know a thing or two as far as Lions Club International is concerned. Our guest for the day, Frank Amoramora, the district officer in charge of Region A, which comprises of about 18 clubs, is here to share much more on that. You're most welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How have you been?
I have been well.
Well, we do commend you.
But I'm well.
We commend you for the great work with an early update that we just had for the viewer. Just briefly, what it was all about, and in general, for someone who is watching you today, they could not be knowing what Lions Club International is all about.
First and foremost, I'm glad that UBC is hosting us. And my name is Frank Muramura, as you have correctly said. I'm a member of the Lions Club of Kampala Central. You notice we talk about Lions Club International. Just Kampala Central is one of the 48,000 clubs that are spread over the world in over 200 countries. And these clubs work together to serve communities. What was happening yesterday at Silver Springs Hotel, where a two-function thing, because we were ushering in new administrators for the district. We have an organization, a structure, where a district is covering the whole of Uganda and is led by a district governor. So we were swearing in members of the governing council for the district, which is headed by a district governor. In this case, he is Dr. Stanley Bubichere, together with his working group. We are being installed yesterday. But as you notice that we are a collection of people organized in clubs. Not everybody knows everything. So you need to have training so that people who are going to work together know what they should do in order to serve the communities better. That's why we started with a training in the morning, and that training was making sure there is harmony in the service and we know what to do.
Okay.
It is important. It is part of leadership development.
Okay, but in general, we understand that Lions Club International, basically you have lots of areas of concern, and specifically you do prioritize when it comes to medical camps. That is where your priority is. What's with the motivation? How come you prioritize medical camps to reach out to the communities?
Why we prioritize medical camps, one of the reasons is historical, because the people who started the Lions Clubs International from Chicago, first of all highlighted site, that was in 1917. So the organization is more than 100 years, and sight was one of them, because people who had problems with seeing, many of those problems were correctable, but they had no capacity or even knowledge to know what to do, and business people who were generally aware of came together to put resources together to serve other people who had that need. And you know that a human being will be successful to the extent that he's healthy. That's why we prioritize medical camps. And it is not only medical camps that we do other activities. But you will probably have noticed that we participate a lot in blood donations, especially in school terms, because students provide an opportunity of high concentrations of viable people, viable meaning they have blood that qualifies, because after 60, your blood may not be qualifying, but the young people have that availability of blood. So we have been partnering with schools, including one which is owned by me and my wife. You probably have heard of Kingsway Primary School and Kingsway High School on Entebbe Road. We usually partner with the Lions Clubs to do that activity. We also partner with the Lions Clubs to have eye screening hosted at our schools. So we do collaboration with schools, but also we do collaboration with medical facilities. Because when you want to offer medical services to people, they need to come somewhere where they find you. And that's why you'll find we partner with medical facilities like hospitals or even clinics if it is a small activity. But if it is a big activity, we choose hospitals because we need to do surgeries. And we can only do that where there are theaters. So we usually have collaboration with medical facilities and the Ministry of Health.
Okay, maybe just you highlighting or elaborating more of the key services that Lions Club International offers, or maybe the initiatives that you've been part of that have empowered the community.
First and foremost, we've talked about eyesight, and we do both small and big projects in eyesight. At club level, you might do eye screening and some treatment, but at a more grand level where you need to put up, say, an eye hospital, we find that one club cannot do it, so we have a Lions Clubs International Foundation, which organizes fundraising at a global scale. They fundraise from organizations like the World Bank, World Health Organization, and we, members of these Lions Clubs at our individual levels, also contribute to that foundation. Even non-Lion members like you and others can contribute to that foundation. And because we pull resources from all over the world through the foundation, then the foundation is able to fund the big projects like the ones currently ongoing in Uganda. We are building an eye unit at Nsambya Hospital. We built an eye unit at Mbarara Hospital. We built one eye unit in Kabare, and we did one in Elira. And we have other ongoing projects to do with diabetes awareness and screening, which are happening within the Kampala region. You find that any 1 year, we are running projects funded by the International Foundation in excess of $1.5 million. Now, as Lions Clubs in Uganda, we make a contribution towards that foundation, but you'll find that we probably contribute about $100,000 or $150,000, but because the organization at the international level is fundraising from all over the world, they support us in excess of, say, $1 million, $1.5 million.
So if I want to participate on an individual level, or maybe someone wants to partner, what happens if I want to join the club and be part of such great initiative?
First of all, joining to be a member of the club is by invitation. Why by invitation? Because we have a reputation to protect. We do not want people who use our logo to go and misbehave. So we vet the character of the person who is joining us. That's why it is by invitation. But you may be in contact, or you have seen people doing good work and they are Lions and you want to join, you can approach them, talk to them. They will invite you to their club meetings. You understand well what they do. You undergo orientation, and you can be a member and join and be supportive. But you can also offer your help even when you are not a club member. You can offer your support by donating things. For example, when there are landslides, we get things like tents, medical equipment, medicines to go and rescue people where there are landslides, or whether there is hunger, they donate food and we deliver such food.
Okay.
So you can participate in that way.
Okay, before we let you go, looking ahead, what are some of the developments that you'd love to engage the viewer out there who is watching, or maybe strategies and plans that you have for the club itself?
Every year, each club has a year planner, and we scale out what we want to do. And this year, we are having a major medical camp in Isinjiro, to which we invite people to contribute towards making it happen. We have another major health camp going to take place at Kajansi, and we invite people to help us on that. We are constructing a center which will house a health center in Buryankuyege, which is here in Ruwero, and that one is going to cost about 3 billion shillings, and we invite people to fundraise for us to be able to put that up, because it will give service to the communities. We are hosting our chairman of the International Foundation from Chicago, USA, is coming today. He will be here for 3 days, and he will be inspecting the ongoing projects which are funded by Lions Clubs International at Nsambia, where we are doing an eye center in Jinja, and we'll also be visiting Buryankuyege to inspect the area where we are putting up a center. And members of the community, you are welcome to offer your assistance, because it benefits communities.
Oh,
thank you.
Amazing. A great work that you're doing. We do salute you, and greetings to Lions Club International as you prepare to host.
Thank you.
Well, moving on with other activities as far as this day is concerned, I'll take you straight to business, where rice farming is a booming sector in Uganda. And a booming sector in Uganda, if you just joined us, a salute to our guest for the day, Frank Moramora, District Officer in charge of Region A, which comprises of 18 clubs, and he's from Lions Club International. Now, straight into business. Rice farming is a booming sector in Uganda and is reported to be contributing highly to Uganda's food security. A majority of farmers in Uganda are, however, carrying out rice farming in wetlands, something that poses a threat to the environment. Experts are now encouraging farmers to adopt climate-smart agricultural methods like upland rice farming and the use of biochar organic fertilizers to reduce the effects of climate change. Take a look.
Agriculturalists and environmental conservationists are encouraging rice farmers to adopt climate-smart agriculture methods to save wetlands.
We have also been doing, mainly on upland rice varieties, makes a significant contribution to the challenge that we have as Uganda on rice production in the wetlands. So these trials and protocols that we are doing, we are also getting to see which varieties work, which upland varieties are working very well, so that we can support government in its initiative to ensure that farmers adopt the upland rice varieties and get out of the wetlands.
We are promoting also what we call upland rice production through varieties that are better suited for the uplands, basically producing rice under rain-fed conditions. So you don't need flooding, you don't need to produce it in the wetlands, and therefore what that means is that we are able to reduce the pressure on the wetlands, because a lot of rice is produced in the wetlands, and there is already conflict between the farmers and the government, who are trying to enforce the issues of exploitation of the wetlands.
We are looking at this protocol because everyone knows we have climate change. Look at how sunny it is in Doho. This is supposed to be the beginning of the rainy season. We are yet to see the rains, and so we have a climate change issue, and therefore we have an issue of water for production. And this protocol, and especially specifically intermediate watering and drying, enables us to see how do we manage water for production for smallholder farmers.
Uganda is one of the least rice-producing countries in East Africa, at about 2.5 million tons, with consumption per capita at about 6 kilograms, leaving a deficit of 60,000 metric tons.
Uganda's rice consumption has greatly increased, but almost 40% of it is actually imported, simply because our population has grown, so the demand also for food has increased. But with the growing population, so has our population also changed in their eating habits.
Moreover, rice is a crop or a food stuff that has a long life, shelf life. After production, after harvest, the rice can stay more than 5 years without destruction. So that provides good food security.
To increase rice production, farmers need to adopt new farming methods like rice legume integration, use of organic fertilizers like biochar, adopt upland rice growing, and rice ratooning, which promotes soil stability and improves soil health.
Ingenious method that has been found that can be utilized in this case is the biochar development, whereby the husks are charred in a process called pyrolysis. And this process, whereby the charred biochar is actually used either as fortified by adding what we call BSF frass to make it have more elements that can support crop life.
Ratooning is the cutting back of a crop, and then this crop regrows back on itself to give you another season's crop in summer. It's similar to what happens with grass. When you cut it back, you don't have to replant, it grows back.
Rice straws are not normally recommended in the fields because of the allopathetic effects with them. They also have a lot of, they don't add much of the nutrient to the soil. So the approach we are using is vermicomposting. We get the straw, shred it like into smaller particles, mix it with manure. So the manure is introducing more nutrient to the straw. Then after it has composted for about 2 weeks, we introduce the worms, what we call earthworms, some call them the rigworms, to further decompose it and add more nutrient content to it in simple language.
Slow adoption of farmers to new farming methods, failure to embrace farming calendars, and limited number of extensive service officers still pose a significant challenge.
These farmers are not climate resilient because the way they are overutilizing water, they are losing a lot of water, and simply because of adopting just a simple technique of following a cropping calendar, so that all farmers do one thing at the same time. They put their nurseries together during the same time, they plant during the same time, basically transplant during the same time.
One of the biggest challenges we have in production of cereal crops like maize, rice, millet, sorghum is a pest called Striga hamothica.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, in Bale.
Well, that's all we could accommodate for this particular hour. Thank you for watching from the hour of 1 p.m. Weekly news roundup every Sunday afternoon. My name is Sandra Kahunde. Now, look out for more updates later on in the evening. That will also include His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni and the First Lady Janet Museveni, who celebrated their 50th marriage anniversary at a colorful ceremony later on in a timely news hours of the day. And still, that will also include activities happening as far as is concerned that is to do with the cancer run. And congratulations to those who are part of this cancer run this day. Well, greetings from the team behind the scene. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Keep watching the National Broadcaster. God bless you. A blessed week ahead.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need